All right, Sean, we're here on Map 1, Lost Temple, Artosis versus Cauthon Luck, TVZ, pretty much what we saw last week in the race matchup. Of course, you did have Idra playing the Zerg instead of Artosis this week. And Artosis is going to be out for blood this week, as Idra is kind of his training partner. They obviously live in Seoul, Korea together, and they play each other quite frequently. So I'm interested to see if Idra gave him any tips or kind of told Artosis what to expect from Cauthon here.
Yeah, Artosis and Idra are definitely little nerd buddies. They hang out all the time. They're constantly in coffee shops discussing strategy and that sort of thing. It's a little interesting to note that this week, because it is a best of 7 instead of a best of 5, Cauthon Luck is forced to be a little bit more stable in his strategies. In a best of 5, generally you can have up to 2 or 3 games with something a little bit gimmicky, and we did see 2 games. Cauthon Luck won straight up by just getting Banshees very quickly. So it's going to be a little bit different this week. So on the right, we do have Cauthon Luck spawning as the blue Terran. And on the left, we have Idra spawning as the red Zerg. And I did want to touch a little bit on how similar Artosis and Idra's playstyle is. I mean, because they talk so much and they love training together, they really do converge to like almost an identical style.
Yeah, we do see Artosis sending that drone out, possibly going directly across the map. Actually, it looks like he's going to grab that Zone Naga and scout out for any SCVs, of Cauthon. He did not see any. He's going to be going up to the 12 o'clock position. He's not going to find Cauthon, so I'm pretty sure he's still going to be able to get inside the base of Cauthon. However, he's going to be throwing down the barracks soon at his choke, hopefully. I'm thinking he's going to go pretty standard. Yeah, there it is. He's moving it to the side a little bit. Going to be walling off with that tech lab or the reactor, whichever he decides to choose from. So, I mean, do you think we're going to see pretty much the standard opener here from Artosis with the fast expand into the Lings?
Yeah, I mean, it's really looking like it. And there's already a bunch that I absolutely love about what Artosis is doing. For instance, the fact that he's hit up both these Xel'Naga watchtowers. We saw him hit that second one on the way down as well. That's such an incredibly high-level play. That's one of those, I have played 400 games, and maybe in 2 or 3 of them, I lost because someone built a barracks in the middle of the map. And even though that doesn't happen those often, those wins sting the most, and definitely they're the sort of things that you see in this sort of tournament situation. So I love the fact that Artosis is doing those little tiny adjustments, and it looks like he is going straight up Idra style, getting a pool, and then looks like he's going to be making a hatch at his expo around 16.
Right, looking back over at Cauthon Luck's base, he did get that barracks down. He now has the first Marine coming out of that barracks rallied onto that drone as Artosis is getting a little bit extra information. Looking at the build of Cauthon, we do see him going the pretty standard right now with the quick gas into the orbital command center to get that mule. He's a little bit late on the mule right now. He still hasn't thrown it down. That energy is up to 53, 54, 55. Still no mule. Wow. I guess he's worried. There he goes, finally down, throwing it down. I guess he was microing that Marine, trying to get that drone out of his base to get a little bit less information on Artosis' side, and now it is going down. He does see that fast expand up from Artosis and also the spawning pool, but looks like Artosis is just kind of going to do his thing now over in his bases. There's really no pressure this early in the game from the Terran player.
Yeah, so it looks like Cauthon Luck is doing that build that he loves, that, it's pretty much one of the most standard openings in this matchup, where you get the reactor at the barracks and then trade it to the factory, so you can start double Hellioning very early on. But it looks like Cauthon Luck is making a little bit more of an aggressive variant on it, getting another barracks already. Almost all players end up getting the command center, and they use the Hellions to distract. So if we look over in Artosis' base, he is throwing down a Roach Warren at the right side of his base. He wants to be able to get those Roaches to deal with that Hellion harass, but if you look in the middle of the map, Cauthon Luck doing a little bit of cute stuff with the Marines and the SCV, just putting slightly ever so more pressure onto Artosis. We see those extra Lings coming out, and I do think with these 2 barracks, there's going to be a ton of Marauders just slamming down Artosis' front door way earlier than he expects.
Right, we do see the tech lab going down on that finished barracks, the one that he just swapped out for the reactor on that factory to get that double Hellion out. There is no spine crawler up for Artosis right now, so I'm thinking that it's going to be really easy, actually, for Cauthon to just swing those Hellions in. But we do see the Roach Warren finish, so there might be a couple Roaches as Artosis is now up with that tech. It looks like he's going to continue to spawn some drones from his main and drones from his natural expansion, so still waiting on some Roaches to pop, however. These 2 Hellions are now coming out of Cauthon Cauthon Lux base. I think Artosis did see those with that Overlord over his natural expansion, but of course those Lings are going to run into him. He's going to easily take care of those. Looks like Cauthon's not even really microing. He's just letting him straight up fight those units. As he micros the SCV, that's where the micro was, across the map. You're going to see those Hellions now rush into Artosis' base and try to harass some of those drones. He is pulling that Queen, however, to his natural expansion and throwing down a Spine Crawler. So he's going to be able to possibly defend those drones, and the Hellions now looking like they're just going to back off for some reason. Not really sure why he's not being more aggressive with those.
Yeah, I mean, what we definitely saw from QXC today in Smuff's Team Battle Invitational is that if you get those Hellions out, you can just easily bounce back and forth and eventually roast the Roach or the Queen, because the Hellions do have 5 range, so you can do that good old hit-and-run micro. But look at this. Back over in the center of the map, we see 2 Reapers coming out by Cauthon Luck. No Marauders just yet. Looks like the first 2 are almost finished, and these Reapers are going to be a huge surprise to Artosis. No one has ever seen anything like this. They are the 2 Reapers finally jumping up top. We see there are 6 Hellions at the front, completely distracting Artosis, and oh, here come the Reapers in the main. Artosis bringing all of his drones, and at the front we see all the Hellions now running into the main, managing to distract Artosis long enough. What a beautiful play, and oh my god, those drones are taking a ton of damage. And oh, look, he needs to just fire just once at that cluster, just one more time, and oh, he's unable to take out nearly as many Roaches I would have assumed he was able to.
Yeah, it looks like he got about 6. 6
yeah,
or so.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting him to get something more like all of them or so.
Yeah.
We do see those 2 Reapers bouncing back in. If you look, Cauthon Lux at 45 food, and Artosis is at 39 food, so a little surprising that Artosis is taking quite that much damage. I mean, 6 Hellions is a lot to lose, and he did finally lose those 2 Reapers. Some Hellions some Roaches out for Artosis, so he's feeling a little bit more confident at this point in the game.
All right, going over to Cauthon Lux base, we do see him building that command center. Going to move that over to his natural expansion. We do see multiple Roaches now inside of his base as well. Looks like he's going to continue to build those Roaches. We still don't see a stim pack upgrade, though. Marauders. Sorry, excuse me. Terrans can't spell Roaches. What am I thinking? Thanks for actually correcting me there instead of making myself look like a fool and not saying anything. So, going back over to Artosis' base, he has had that, or he actually is upgrading that lair right now, or he has had it. Excuse me. I thought the little larva hatching there was the countdown for some reason. Wow, I'm on my game today. So he has had that lair for quite some time. He hasn't really researched any tech with it, however, though. So I'm wondering why he got it so quick. Possibly see a transition into Hydralisk here or even Mutas. Really waiting to see what he did, or waiting to see. Oh, okay, now I understand what he did. He did get the Overlord upgrade speed to just simply scout out Cauthon's bases. He pretty much saw everything that Cauthon had to offer, except his Marauders forces. I like to call them Roach force right there on the ramp of his base. Now we see Artosis moving out slowly with that creep tumor, having those Overlords spew down that generated creep. Looks like he's going to be taking out those destructible rocks there at the high yield expansion, kind of just doing what Artosis is known for, and what you were saying earlier, how both him and Hydra are those macro type players. So it looks like he's going to throw down another expansion there at the high yield there pretty soon.
I'm a little surprised at Artosis' play. I mean, his money is getting really high. I've actually been constantly checking over at this Overlord at the right side of the base, because I assumed that Artosis was vomiting the creep there, so that way he could build a spire and hide his tech a little bit. But it looks like he's building a Hydralisk den right underneath where Cauthon Luck scanned. And if we look at Artosis' main, he only just recently had those 3 drones in each of his geysers. And I mean, there's something about StarCraft 2 that just makes people forget to put things into their gas. I mean, there's so many games where you see really good players with, 1 or 2 guys in each geyser, and Artosis almost confused him to be the same player. Yeah, Artosis is finally managing to get his tech up a little bit better. I think he's going overkill on the spine crawlers. Look, 1 spore crawler even going down at the back of his base. Just a little bit too much defense there. I think that's a little bit too overcautious.
We do see a Viking now going towards the top island. It looks like he's going to easily take out that Overlord. His Vikings do a ton of damage. Well, maybe not, as the Overlord's a little bit quicker. Actually, it does look like he's going to end up taking that and possibly see a little bit more information from Artosis' natural expansion here. He might even see that hatchery there at the high yield if he decides to pull it back. Now it looks like he's going to go into another Overlord. Those Hydralisks still are not spawned in his base, actually. I mean, he could get a lot of Overlords here and really put Artosis back. Actually, there's the Queen doing some damage there on that Viking. He was able to get 2 Overlords, though, so I mean, that's 200 middles and a little bit behind on the supply. If he kills this one, possibly, he's going to be I think, undersupplied, but he will end up seeing that expansion there at the high yield. So I think you might see some aggression here from Cauthon Luck really soon.
Oh, looks like Cauthon Luck just barely missed that last Overlord. Is he going to get that one? I mean, there's 2 super red Overlords. Oh, all those Hydrals pop out. I mean, that Viking is running on lost time, and there he goes. He is finally down. And it looks like Cauthon Luck is doing one of the more standard transitions after you get your expansion up, just to throw down a whole bunch of barracks. You steal that reactor away from the factories and give it to the starport. And that way you get a ton of medevacs out. And, early Vikings are starting to be really popular in this matchup, just because you can snipe so many Overlords and scout. They're almost like the way the Corsairs operated in Starcraft 1, or B-Dub, as I like to call it, affectionately, the Brood War. And we do see no second geyser on Cauthon Luck's natural expansion, just sticking to 3, 2 in his main, 1 at the Expo, getting a ton of Marines, but no combat shield upgrade. Oh, God, that's so bad. You need that combat shield upgrade, especially if you're going to be going 6 barracks with, 2 reactor for the Marines. I mean, and I'm almost certain these other barracks are also going to be getting reactors. Oh, I am wrong, because there is one tech lab and another tech lab. All right. I guess he learned from watching Idra's games in that Smuffed Invitational earlier today, where Idra just had so many roaches that Marines really couldn't do anything against them.
Right, we do see upgrades now coming out from Artosis. He's just getting every upgrade known to the Zerg race, actually. It looks like he's now getting both level 2 of his missile attacks and of his armor. Looks like he did get those Glil Reconstitution for the roaches, allowing them to move faster, and also the Hydralis upgrade. So he's pretty well off right now in the upgrade department. Going back over to Cauthon Luck's base, he still has not gotten the damage upgrade 1 for the infantry units, although it looks like it's about 85 or 80% done. And he is researching the stim pack upgrade, which will be done soon. He's still only spawning building 1 unit out of that starport, even though it is connected to the reactor. So I'm kind of curious as to why he's not macroing a little bit more out of that starport.
I think he just wants to reserve all his cash for this giant Marine Marauder composition. He didn't even really seem like he wanted that many medevacs. He only has 4 right now. A lot of players with an army that size would prefer 6 or even 8. And I'm also surprised that Cauthon Luck is not moving forward to that destructible rock. I mean, he's pretty much putting all his eggs in one basket and just going for this gigantic Marine Marauder push. An Overlord looks like it's scouting in Cauthon Luck's base, but that Viking's going to make short work of it. And if we actually look at Idra's army composition, if we go up to the unit counting
Artosis,
station...
not Idra, Artosis.
Gosh, Artosis. Potato. I mean, Artosis has 5 Hydralisks and 48 Roaches. And yeah, Roaches are great. They're, the backbone unit for the Zerg army. But I mean, against the number of Marauders that Cauthon Luck has, he has 32 Marauders and 35 Marines. And I mean, even those Marines are not really going to be doing that much damage against those Roaches. They're still going to be doing that little extra bit that's going to help them swing on over for the victory. And I mean, there's those 2 Spine Crawlers, that 1 Spore Crawler in the center as well. I'm really, I have no idea who's going to be winning this battle.
Yeah, one thing to actually notice that we will be fighting on the creep for Artosis, so this is going to give him a little bit of the movement advantage. We do see them start fighting, however, as there goes the stim pack, and now we're going to see those Roaches form a nice concave on those Marauders and those Marines. But it looks like his forces are going to get split. Cauthon Luck's forces are a little bit split, but it looks like I'm not really sure who's winning it. I think Cauthon Luck is actually winning that fight. You see a lot more Hydralisks come in to try to back up that fight. Now Artosis is going to retreat. Now we see him go back in for the attack, but some really nice unit control from Cauthon right there to able to get down a little bit more Roaches as he pulls back, and now both people are just kind of waiting to see, kind of feel things out. However, if I was Cauthon, I would start pushing a little bit sooner, because he will be able to get a lot more forces up really quickly, as we are fighting right outside of Artosis' base.
Yeah, and we see that big extra boost of Hydralis is really the only thing that's keeping Artosis alive right now. Oh my god, look at that target firing the medevacs. The Hydralis take those down. And this army, look at Artosis with that beautiful concave of all of those units. And even though Cauthon Luck is trying to reinforce, he just does not have that many medevacs. 2 more have just popped out and are coming back into battle. But Cauthon Luck's big one-push army is just gone. I mean, this really was all the eggs in one basket. Now, this is an interesting choice by Cauthon Luck. He's gotten a Ghost Academy. I mean, I doubt he's going to be nuking, but a lot of players are really liking to use that sniper round for the Ghost to be able to do that 45 damage to take out a bunch of the Hydralisks in the back very, very quickly.
Yeah, one thing I actually like about Artosis' play, and we also saw this with Idra when he was playing Zerg, is he's using those creep tumors to just take over the entire center of the map. We see him spawning another one right there in the very, very center of the map. And I think that's one thing that allowed him to pull back without taking too much damage from that Marauder Marine force there earlier. Then he just waited for those Hydralisk and those extra roaches to spawn from his hatcheries, and then he just went right back in when he was able to defeat Cauthon. We see Cauthon actually going towards these destructible rocks of his own high yield. Artosis is going to see this, however, and move his Overlord back. Maybe a little bit of a blunder. I think Cauthon possibly could have taken out that Overlord, although it's not too much of a big deal. We see him taking down that destructible rocks, hopefully seeing a command center being plopped down relatively soon. There goes the SCV coming out of his natural expansion. Actually, it's stopped now. He's kind of debating on what to do. We do see him at about 700, 600 marine or minerals right now. I guess he's just looking to spawn a little bit more units out of those barracks that he has. Barracks. Wow,
And
I'm just terrible with the barracks.
I have no idea what Cauthon Luck's doing. Look at this. He's adding on 4 more barracks in his main as he goes to this high yield. And look at Artosis positioned right outside the front. There needs to be a stim and run. It looks like he's backing up. Oh, I don't like this choice. He had a great concave. And now Cauthon Luck is backing up into one of the worst positions possible. All right, great. Now he's behind that factory. Artosis knows this isn't a good spot. He backs up as well. There are a lot of Marauders there, and there are 4 medevacs as well. I mean, there's still a lot of units. These medevacs are in a good position. Those roaches are trying to advance forward, but it looks like Cauthon Luck doesn't quite have the number of units that he wants to have in order to be able to take out this force. And Artosis might be able to just win it right here. He has his Hydros target firing the medevacs. 1 goes down, 2 goes down, and it looks like he barely managed to stay alive. Oh, moving a little bit too far forwards, now bringing all his SCVs into the fight. Might be able to hold this off, but not with all those roaches coming from reinforcements. Look at that, just storming right in. And it looks like Cauthon Luck might be able to hold for a little bit longer, but Artosis at a full 100 food, Cauthon Luck only at 60. There's going to be almost no way that Cauthon Luck can come out of this one, and Artosis might be able to find a little bit of revenge for Idra in this match, but maybe I'm a little bit wrong. It looks like with pure roach reinforcement and these Marauders just countering the roaches so strongly, there's not going to be that much that Artosis can do with just these small roach reinforcements. But I mean, look at the center. Artosis already has another 20 roaches ready to rock in.
Yeah, one thing to note actually is that Cauthon is really, really low on the minerals right now. He did get that orbital command, that command center, done from. He actually moved it, lifted off at his main, and moved it all the way over. But now looking at Artosis, he does see that orbital command center, and then we do see a well-played GG, some nice manner there coming from Cauthon. We're seeing GG from both players, and Artosis will defeat Cauthon 1-0 in Week 6, Game 1 here on Lost Temple.
That said, I mean, I was surprised at Artosis' early game play. There were just a lot of mistakes and a lot of dropping the ball. A lot of larvae just sort of piling up for no reason. There were some overlord blocks that happened. And when that big push came out by Cauthon Luck, Artosis almost lost. So, I mean, Cauthon Luck actually happened the same way last week. Cauthon Luck opened up and just got demolished by Idra in game 1 and then came back to win the next 3. I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happened, as Cauthon Luck begins to switch up his strategies. Artosis did a very standard play on that map, and Cauthon Luck also did something very standard, which is pretty much what you do on Lost Temple. It's like the most standard map in the map set. So I'm real excited to see what's going to be happening on this next map. There's a lot of more potentials to do some sort of cutesy, aggressive stuff on Steps of War.
All right, so we will be back on our second map, Steps of War, here in Week 6 of the MLG Showcase Series. All right, Sean, we're here on Map 1, Lost Temple, Artosis versus Cauthon Luck, TVZ, pretty much what we saw last